Okay, it's 1:30. I'll call this meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Is the flag around the corner?
It's right there around.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Got enough. Mary's on Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay, any amendments to the agenda? If none, approval of the minutes from the previous meeting.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the previous meeting. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I abstained because I wasn't here.
Yeah, you get a demerit for that. Okay, motion carries, minutes approved. Old business. Morgan County Commissioner's decision regarding Brush Creek Holdings short-term rental application.
Brush Creek Holdings pulled their application, so there was not a vote.
Okay, decision regarding Horton's short-term rental application.
The county commissioners approved the vote with the addition of changing from 8 renters maximum to 6 renters maximum, and no outdoor flames were added to the conditions.
Okay, decision on Grafton.
The applicant pulled their application, so there was no vote.
Decision regarding the Yoder short-term rental application.
That was approved, and they had no additional conditions.
Is there any other old business? New business. The Yahtzee special use permit request in Zone 4. Parcel A of the Hood parcels.
And it's actually Alan that would do, Alan would do the presenting.
Okay. You can make your presentation now.
And you're making it to us.
Okay, sounds good. So, as you probably know, I want to do a feed store.
We can't hear back here.
Okay.
Any of you, we can't hear.
Why don't you move over that
Yeah,
direction
so
towards
look-
the screen?
yeah,
Here,
yeah.
just take your chair, that's all right.
That's all right. Maybe you can hear better if I didn't have to yell at it. There you go. So we're proposing a feed store. We've been running a feed store, doing deliveries to local places out here in the valley. And selling hay, just pretty much all kinds of animal products. And I didn't realize I needed a special use permit, so that's kind of where we're at right now, but the plan would be to try to do as much delivery as we can. Usually on Wednesdays, we focus on delivering to whoever places their orders anytime during the week and stuff. But up to now, we have had the doors open for walk-in customers and stuff, and I'd like to advertise to create more business if we can. Does that pretty much explain it?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
You did, can I just confirm or ask you, did you close at any time?
I did, yeah, after, I fill out the application and stuff, and I've been gone half the time in the last month, so I just put a sign on the doors as closed until further notice. So we delivered a few things out to places, some hay and things that people are depending on us for. So until we figure out.
Okay, letters?
I believe that most of the audience wanted to present their letter. So Marcia, you okay with that?
Well, I was wondering about letters that we'd already received.
Okay.
So we received 6 formal written complaints. Their complaints were that they were operating the SUP without approval. There was some adjacent landowners that wrote in letters, and non-adjacent landowners that wrote in letters, but they are here and they would like to present their own letters.
Okay,
I'll present a couple letters here. It's been a year since I've had to come before this planning commission. I was hoping to go for 2 years, but I guess it didn't work. Anyway, Kathy Kerr wrote a letter, and she asked me to present it because of several people in here that haven't heard what she said, and she is an adjacent landowner. Kathy Kerr says, I strongly object to this idea. My husband and I intentionally chose rural land to have a peaceful, quiet respite to enjoy nature and the beautiful mountains. We are blessed with visits from all kinds of wildlife, bear, elk, deer, mountain lions. In the spring and early summer, the sound of the creek is amazing. Please don't allow changes that take all that away from us. I believe there is already an adequate supply in our valley of what they are wanting to sell. Muddy Road is also hard to maintain. Additional traffic would only add to the maintenance needs. My husband died on the land, and I have spread his ashes here and made a memorial area for him. The feed store request property is directly below me. When the owners were raising puppies, the barking was loud and consistent. I hope I have conveyed how strongly I want our area to remain free from commercial endeavors. Please feel free to contact me if you have any questions or I can provide any other information. The second letter I'm reading is from a neighbor, and Kathy's in Texas, so she couldn't be here. The second comes from Joe and Carol Reinhardt, which are neighbors. It has come to our attention that a special use application has been filed with the Custer County Planning and Zoning Office by one Aiden Yatsi, who wishes to open a feed store at 129 CR 155 parcel in section 21, Westcliff, Colorado. We would like to express our grievance against this application. We do not wish for a feed store, commercial business, or any other type of business to be located near or around the area of our property. The scenic area will be destroyed by commercialization by these types of properties that belong within the city limits. We believe that if this application passes, it will be the beginning of the destruction of the beauty of the residential areas that are nestled within the mountains. The ambience of the dark sky community will be destroyed by the excessive lighting that the business will require and endless traffic on our already fragile rural roads. Please think about the future of these majestic mountains before passing this application. If you allow one commercial business in this area, it will allow others to follow suit, destroying what we are trying so hard to maintain, our beautiful mountains. Our vote would be absolutely no. Sincerely, Joe and Carol Reinhardt. Parcel number 00100373352, CR 150-159. Thank you.
Okay, Marcy, could you point out where these two lots are that just complained?
Oh, let's see. Oh, here's money. And is this,
That's below us.
that's you guys is right?
Hers
behind?
is,
That's the pond.
yes.
Are
Yeah.
we talking up here? This?
Oh, these are,
Those are the pond, I'm right here.
oh, you're right here, okay. Thank you.
Curve is right there.
Kathy's right here, and then the Reinhardts are right here.
Okay, thank you.
Kathy's right next to them, and the Reinhardts are right there.
Okay.
May I just say, we're trying to, hopefully the delivery process will eliminate a lot of traffic. I don't see a lot of extra traffic being created. I mean, there'll be people moving, of course, but the customers I've had all usually don't show up before noon, and there'll be a few, and we still have all the wildlife we had before. They all move through, it's good, so. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Yes.
And show us where your parcel is.
So I don't know if you can see, so, right there, we're right here, basically. So here's Muddy Road, and then we're about right here, and that's Suzanne's property. So my name is Sudsy Banish, legal name Annette Banish, and several community members from Zone 2 got together when we found out about the feed store, and we collaborated with the letter, and we sent this to you, to Dorothy Karsten, to the Planning and Zoning Department. I wish to read it. Subject, opposition to the requested special use permit for Aiden Etsy landowner and Mr. Alan Yoder, applicant. Sangre Supply, 129 CR 155 Westcliff. Kathy Kerr informed her neighbors that Mr. Yoder was requesting a special use permit to operate a feed store at 129 CR 155, and the public comment would take place on March 3rd, 2025. Many neighbors are opposed to the special use permit and want to express our views in writing so that the Custer County Planning Commission can have them in hand before March 3rd and can properly review our objections. 35.5 acre property at 129 County Road 155 is zoned residential agriculture. To allow a commercial business will transform the original intent of the San Brady Cristo District zoning, which is, according to the Custer County zoning resolution, intended to promote a rural residential environment, areas where conservation of agricultural resources, including forestry and open space, is of prime importance. The Sangre Supply feed store is not an agriculture business, as Mr. Yoder is purchasing merchandise from wholesale companies for retail sales, grain, supplements, veterinary supplies, etc. This makes it a commercial endeavor as defined in Section 3 of the Custer County zoning resolution. I quote, the sale or rental of goods or services to consumer traffic, as opposed to Agriculture 1, which is, and I quote again, producing fair market crops for raising livestock. A business must have proof of adequate water and sewer, Section 9.31. Does Mr. Yoder in fact comply with this regulation? Is Mr. Yoder licensed and bonded with the Colorado Department of Agriculture, bonding being a requirement in Colorado? The added traffic to CR 155, Muddy Road, Willow Lane, Kettle Lane will interfere with agriculture activities that occur in these roads. Increased traffic of delivery trucks and customers will wreak havoc on a road that is already difficult to maintain, Muddy Road CR 150. The road suffers from frost boils and flooding, and a commercial business will cost Custer County Road and Bridge more time and money to maintain and repair. A precedent has already been set in Custer County when a grocery store on Schoolfield Road was denied, and that was April 30th of 2021. Custer County already has industrial commercial zones that are more appropriate for commercial business and more conducive and convenient for customer base. The whole point of the industrial commercial zone is to minimize the impact on Custer County agricultural heritage, according to the master plan. We expect planning and zoning to adhere to the master plan to maintain the ambience of our community, especially the San Brady Cristo District. We have other concerns. The business, Sangre Supply, is not registered with the Colorado Secretary of State, according to documentation on the Colorado Secretary of State Business Entity Search. Sangre Supply was delinquent and dissolved 9/1/23, and the last agent was Wayne H. Miller. Mr. Yoder is violating law as he is conducting business at 129 CR 155 without a special use permit. Is he paying county and state taxes on the sales he is currently making? When informed of said violation by Pam Hunsaker and Marcy Gray, the Planning and Zoning Office Clerk replied that the personnel already knew of Mr. Yoder's business activity. However, the offense was overlooked because he was nice when he came into the office to apply for the special use permit. In addition, Mrs. Hunsaker and Mrs. Gray were told Mr. Yoder was unaware of the rules and procedures. As Commissioner Bill Candace said at a BOCC meeting November 17, 2021, ignorance is no excuse. It appears that his special use permit is already a done deal without a public hearing before the Planning and Zoning Commission, as he is currently allowed to conduct business transactions and is advertising his Sangre Supply feed store online, which features his retail merchandise. For these reasons and concerns, the following neighbors who live and own property close to the proposed Sangre Supply feed store at 129 CR 155 adamantly oppose Mr. Yoder's special use permit. We thank the Commission in advance for taking our concerns seriously. Sincerely, and these are signed, Kathy Kerr, Marty and Roger Gray, Pam and Dan Hunsaker, John and Caitlin Rusher, Mike Smith, Kim Spinelli from Highland Land and Cattle Company, Wildred and Scott Rosansky, Cody and Kylie Rosansky, Vanette Benish, George Rosansky with Rosansky Ranch, Aspen Meadow Elk Ranch, Joe Barnes with WAW Cattle Ranch Incorporated, Drew and Patricia Nix, Joe and Carol Reinhardt, Tyler and Elizabeth Ammerman, and Ignacio Bacura. Thank you.
Can I ask you the Elk Ranch, is that Doug and? Oh, we've been over the fire stuff.
Okay.
Sound like they approved of it.
When he talked to us, we have signatures, and I might have said his name, we didn't get a signature from him, but everyone else has a signature on here.
Okay. Yes, Donnie. No, you. If you holler real loud, we'll let you stay there.
I understand everyone and that they have their concerns, you know, and I had trucking business there in the valley for a long time, and I know what rules and regulations are. But I will say this, that I believe that you need to be legal with your rules and your regulations when you go in business as much as possible. And I would say this, that I would expect you to get legal.
Please speak to the council here, please.
All right, sorry about that.
Thank you. No
I
problem.
would say, I would expect you to get legal, and to have a business. Now, to the point that you talk about wildlife and ruining, you know, mountains and all of that. I've been here all my life. And I guess what I'm gonna say is this, that, you know, the elk and the deer and all that, they're here, they're gonna stay here. You know, you feel like, because there's a feed store up there, that they're gonna leave. I'd have to question myself about that, because I believe that they're gonna stay. I know that probably most people don't feel the way I do. I feel we have a feed store here in the valley on the east of Silver Cliff, and but I feel that there are a lot of people here with small animals. We have ranchers that have large animals, and they have a need, to me, for a feed store. And I guess to me, I like competition. I sell hay, but I'm not gonna try it because a neighbor sells hay. I'm not gonna try to make it to where he can't sell hay. That's a part of our country, is competition. And to me, that if you have 2 feed stores here in the valley, competition is good. And I guess to me, you talk about muddy road. Muddy road's been there forever. So, when you go up muddy road, and I'll grant that right now, in the spring, it is muddy and it has its soft places. But it's still a road, we still travel it. And in my life in trucking, I've been on a lot of roads in my life in all kinds of conditions. So all I'm really trying to say is that I feel like we have a need for another feed store, and granted they're on the west side of the valley, all right? But she was talking about, all the neighbors that were against it, and I'm sure not knocking you at all. But I'm going to say this, I'm also a neighbor. I live just a little over a mile from them. So that's really all I have to say. I would like to see him have his feed store, as long as he'll get legal and do what's right. And it's that much more service that we can have in our valley for people that have large animals, small animals, and it's there to meet their needs. When we had the trucking company, I wasn't against somebody else that had trucks and come in and have competition. Usually we work together, and that's how we try to do business. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
In the back. Yeah.
Hi. My name is George Rosansky. I'm a family member and a shareholder of WAW Cattle Ranch, as well as Rosansky Ranch. And I think the thing here has nothing to do with whether there's a need or not for a feed store. It's about the zoning of that area and how that applies. There may be a need for another feed store, but there's locations that are zoned appropriately. The description of the Sangre de Cristo district is on page 56 of the Custer County zoning regulation. It lists Zone 2, Sangre de Cristo district. I'm going to read this again. This 35-acre zone is intended to be both residential and agricultural in nature. It does not say commercial. This zoning district is intended to promote a rural, residential environment, areas where conservation of agriculture resources, including forestry, open spaces, is of prime importance. So, to that end, there's 8 property owners in District 2 there's 8 that I know of, there could be more, but there's 8 property owners that put their land into a conservation easement, totaling more than 1,600 acres, just right near this location where the feed store is. They did that to maintain open space and the rural heritage of Custer County. I'm going to tell you who those landowners are. You have the Brandenburg family, the Riggs, WAW Cattle Ranch, Smith family, the Rosansky place, the Greggs, the Robies, and the DeVase family. So I guess the way I look at this, one last comment. Having a commercial retail business, and I stress commercial retail business, in District 2 detracts from the resolution's intent and the efforts that these landowners put in place. So I just want you to look at it from that perspective. Okay? Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yes.
My name is Roger Gray, and actually we own land, we live down here somewhere, further up Lake Road, and one of the things I want to point out is that actually the application says you're in Zone 4, you're actually in Zone 2. So anyway, the Custer County Land Use Master Plan states that the land use goal is to preserve Custer County's rural character traits. I believe that allowing a feed store to be established at the corner of County Road 150 and County Road 155 would be detrimental to this goal. This location is zoning District 2. It is a residential agricultural area. The addition of a retail outlet would change the character of our neighborhood. As pointed out in the master plan, the county will direct commercial development into appropriate areas. This location is not an appropriate area. There is not a need for a feed store in this area because there is already one operating in Silvercliff that sells these kinds of products. Thank you.
I just have a quick question too. I've noticed that there's a for sale sign on Yetzi's property, and I'm concerned if it sells, will the special use permit still be in effect if it were awarded?
Thank you. I was just gonna point that out. I don't expect to stay there forever. But if it sells, I have to move. I don't have money to buy the place. And from what I understand, the special use permit is for me, while I live there, and if I move, it's all over, right?
Correct.
So the next person will have to leave.
Yes.
I just wanted to say a couple of things there because I am next to him.
Your
I
name,
am,
please?
huh?
Your name?
My name is Penny, and I would be, well, my name's Penny Button, camper, so, but, I'm the one right next to him, I own the reservoirs there. But people have talked about that road and saying how the traffic would tear it up. That road was not originally built, but was originally used to get to the ski area and had a lot more traffic. No. Then, well, that's how they got there, and it's how my guests get up there. So, and I'm not trying to create an argument, but I just want to say that for me, what I have seen there, I've had charter buses and everything else go up there, and I don't see a lot of damage done to it. But I'm not gonna go beyond that, so. But I just wanted to mention that I am next to him and, yes or no, I don't have a problem with it.
I would just like to point out that the road was there long before the ski area was ever even thought of. It was there when it didn't go beyond, well, there's a turnoff now that goes, road not 155, but the next one. The road did not go beyond that, but it was there when the Hamlins in the 1800s had it. So the ski area came in much, much later. The road has always been there, and until recently, it's been in awful shape. Believe me, I know I've had to walk home a lot of times. It's in good shape now, but the frost boils and maintenance is extreme on that road because it lies in a swamp. But it's been there for a long, long time.
Okay, further public comment? Yes.
Good afternoon, I'm James Perry, and my family
Could you
and
come up
I.
and disappear, please? Thank you.
So 5 years ago, we were privileged enough to buy the land here. It's Haymeadow Holding LLC, but it's us, it's 89 family. We're up in Silvercliff full-time. To us, this land is near and dear too. But I had a couple of questions. First, I wanted to clarify, are we talking about a retail establishment, or are we talking about a distribution center or warehouse?
Oh, I mean, it's retail,
So people coming and going,
right,
okay, beyond the average neighborhood traffic.
right, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And I just point out, I want to be friends with the ranchers in the area, I want to sell to them, right? So I'm not, whatever we can make work out.
Appreciate that. I'd offer a couple of things. For our part, we would be concerned with extra traffic. Lately, the general precedent in the last couple of decades has been quiet, as we understand it, and we would prefer a quieter place. On the other hand, we understand that there needs to be some commerce somewhere in the valley. Agriculture is inherently commercial. We can debate how commercial, but if I sell a bale of hay, it would help to bale it, but if I sell hay, that's still a business activity. I think the question here centers on how much business, how much commerce, how many people from outside the neighborhood. If the volumes were very low, we would be more supportive. Another concern, a very specific one, we also have our bread and butter ditch, our very best ditch is the Hamlin number 5. So there's a Middle Taylor crosses this parcel right about here. So we have our head gate right there, and that's not too far from the barn. So any activity, whether it's just private agriculture or anything else, we would just hope that the number 5 is well cared for and that we have continued access as needed. That's all I have, thank you.
Sir?
James?
Yes.
Yes.
I didn't understand, but when you pointed to the last thing you said,
Yes, sir.
The ditch.
what was it?
So we own the Hamlin number 5. That is our most productive ditch, and that's vital to our haying operations. And it's actually, our property's down here, but the head gate itself is just a little bit north. It's on the LT property.
Oh, it's a ditch, okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah, there's a head gate and then some culverts actually come down and then cross muddy. So.
I understand. Well,
Any other questions, sir?
Thank
you.
Any more public comment? If not,
Just a minute.
comments from a site visit?
1 second.
You know, we talk about, trading local, and I guess to me, when we go down below, we're going to buy down below because we get cheaper, but to me, I'm a believer that as much of my money as we keep here in the valley, I try to do it, that's all I'm saying.
One last thing, I noticed that he's advertising on the internet, and that has a wide reach, not just in Custer County, but in Fremont and Pueblo and other places. And so, I mean, he could potentially bring a lot of people to that area.
Okay, site visit comment?
I put together the map so that you guys could see where the county road ends. A lot of conversation during the tour was on what was county maintained and what's not. The county maintains all of Muddy Road, and then, what road is that there? 155, County Road 155 is maintained past the Etsy's property, and then the next landowner, it stops at that third lot there where that driveway is. So it kind of gives you an idea what's maintained by the county and what's not. That was some of our conversation. Other conversation was basically how many large trucks, semis, how often will you get deliveries? Those were some of the talk around that. We did notice that you had a sign on the door saying closed until further notice. So you had stopped operation. That was one thing that we wanted to determine. And then I think that's about it.
Any comment from other people that was on the site visit?
I'll have questions for the applicant.
Okay. Planning Commission, questions?
You want me to go first? This is to Mr. Yoder. Is that right? Yep. How long you been here in the valley?
2.5 years.
When was that built, that speed store?
Well, I've only been there, I think it was May of last year.
So it was built since May?
The building was there.
The building was there,
Yeah,
okay.
we're just renting from Yitzi's until
Oh, okay.
either they sell or I just gotta go mine
Was that building permitted?
Yes, everything's permitted on the Etsy's property.
it's pretty up to date.
And so it was just a barn before or shed? Is that what?
Yeah, he used it for a shop.
Do you know, do you have plans, because there was a lot of feed in there, or a lot of different items. Do you know, is it 18-wheelers that brings it up there to you? It is?
Some of that feed comes from Missouri, same place the mills get it from, that mill feed in, here. But from back east, they mill it, bag it, and it's just cheaper for me to bring it by the truck road
Right.
rather than, so yeah, big trucks.
How often do you?
Right now, it's like once every 3 months. So I don't sell a huge amount,
And you said you're doing deliveries. How often are you doing deliveries?
once a week.
Once a week?
Yeah.
Like a Wednesday or
Wednesday.
Thursday? But you would expect that to get more, correct?
I'm gonna try to confine as much delivery. I mean, if I have to add a day, it'll be Wednesdays and Thursdays for delivery, but yeah, there'll be more.
Is that a truck that you're delivering out of, or
Pick up in the flatbed.
a flatbed?
Yeah, just,
Cool.
More questions from the planning commission?
Questions?
What else do you have? All I hear is hay.
feed, a lot of different feeds, animal supplements. I started out with what I personally use for horses and what I have there. And then and I'm pretty picky about what I feed as far as grain wise, so I started trying to bring in a pallet every now and then, and pretty soon I had people that wanted to use what I was using, and so we just kind of started stocking a bunch of different things. Yeah, pallet, I have a bunch of pallets of feed sitting there. Wetland salt, minerals and things, for cattle and horses, whatever. And then the hay. So, a lot of that hay, I gotta say, the alfalfa hay is being shipped in, because we don't grow any here. So I ship that in and then just deliver a couple bales at a time to people. So, yeah.
Further questions from the planning commission?
I got one more. So say this were to go through, the house gets sold, what are you gonna do?
I have a couple smaller properties I can store things at, but I won't be able to operate until I find a new location, which I'm keeping my eyes open for something on the main road. Like if I could be on 69 or somewhere more central or on paved road.
So that building would just become vacant again?
Yeah.
Well, we don't know.
Yeah, depending on what the new one did with it. But it wouldn't be used as, for what I'm doing.
Marcy's.
Well, you had asked him about that building when it was built. When it was built, they built it they were gonna do some kind of kids recreation.
Oh, I think they call it a gym or something.
A gym or something, and I think he went through planning commission and it was turned down.
Okay.
And then, since then, it's not vacant now, because it's got porta potties outside and all the stuff that he's doing, but that's what it was first built for, and he got turned down on that.
I think the Amish kids use it to play volleyball in a lot.
Yeah, but he wanted to do something else more, and I'm pretty sure it went to the someplace and it got turned down.
Yeah.
But that was before your time. Yeah, because there's 3 buildings there.
Wilbur.
I'd like to say one more thing, and I promise that's all, hopefully is on the lighter side of a very serious situation. I think everybody here wishes Mr. Yoder complete success with his business, as long as it's carried on in an appropriate venue, an appropriate place. And I'd like to end it with an analogy. Maybe I'm being facetious, but once most of us are concerned about precedence. Once the commercial kennel gets his nose under the agricultural residential tent, it won't be long until the valley is maybe not destroyed, but totally different than what most of us want it to be. An open space, agricultural, residential area where people can raise their children, can retire, can look at the mountains without commercial interference. I'm done, I promise.
Okay, further questions from the planning commission? Mary? Is she there?
No, I have no questions. Thank you.
I'll make a motion. Is there any more questions, or I'll make a motion? There's a reason for this, but, I'll make a motion that we move that recommended the BOCC not approve the application for SUP.
Second. It's been moved and seconded that the planning commission recommended the commissioners to not approve this application for an SUP. Further discussion.
My reason for that, and I'll say it now, is West Cliff has its own rules and regulations, and so does Silver Cliff. There's areas here to do that. My main concern is what's been voiced here already, is once we start opening that up there in residential areas, then it's gonna affect all of county. Because that's what's kind of kept us from doing that, is not allowing that type of storefront in a residential area. Although I think the feed store is probably needed, because competition is needed, but it just needs to be somewhere else.
I agree, I think so too, I'm just trying to.
Yeah, I know, it puts you between a rock and a hard place, and I'm not trying, but where there's a will, there's a way. And
Okay.
there's plenty of areas here, but there again, I can't get into that, so shut up.
So if we're ready to vote, Mike,
We're voting to deny the application, correct?
basically, we're voting aye to approve the motion.
Right.
To recommend or not recommend.
To recommend that they not approve it.
There you go, that's what I was after. Long way around the barn to get to this spot.
Yes.
Yeah. Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
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 To voice.
And I will vote aye. So motion carries.
Do you want reasons?
Yes. Skip.
Okay. I understand it's a good idea probably for the ranchers today. I asked that question, it doesn't sound like you're doing stuff for residents. I'm not in the ranching business. And I don't have a dog or a cat or a chicken or anything, you know. Well, I think we're going on precedence. Several years ago, I'm sure Bill and you remember, a ranchman named Randy Rusk did exactly what you were doing. And he was on the other side, up down on Highway 69. And went to enlarge his feed store. And that created a big deal, because he was a couple of miles out of town. They turned him down. A year ago, Hank Miller at the,
Slaughterhouse.
slaughterhouse, did exactly what you did, come in here, said they wanted to start a market and sell retail. They're on, what road is that,
Schofield.
Schofield. And, we had the town of Westcliff, we had the mayor, we had the president of the board, all in here. There's areas for commercial and areas for agriculture. And I'm surprised nobody's here. They were from Silver Cliff and all. So exactly what the gentleman said, there is a precedent that had been turned down. And I just think if we go with this, all of us, it's gonna raise heck as far as people are gonna take advantage of this precedent. So that's my long story short, or short story long. I think you have a good thing, but move to a different area of the county.
Yeah, I like the biggest thing is being at home with family, working from home. That's a huge thing for me, so.
Justin.
Yeah, like Skip says, commercial agriculture is one thing, selling hay is one thing, but retail is an entirely different thing. And once we get a retail establishment outside of West Cliff, Silver Cliff, and the zoning areas that are marked for it, it becomes a problem. And so I think it needs to stay where it's already marked.
What are some of the zones where they're at?
There's a commercial area right outside of West Cliff, what is it called?
Commercial PUD.
Yeah, the PUD.
Yeah.
And just like Freeman did, the town of Silver Cliff, it goes clear up there, that's what he did. And that's the town of Silver Cliff, and we can't control that. So, there's a lot of area there.
There's a lot of opportunities.
There is.
I was on the site tour. What I did notice is your land is clean, kept well. The feed store was kept clean. That whole area was very clean. And so it's hard to turn something like that down when you see something that's that clean. I didn't see the porta potties. I would have probably changed my mind on some of that. But it is a residential area. You do have neighbors that you have to work with.
Yeah.
You love them or hate them, they're still neighbors. But, they do have a point, and I like to stick with them because they live in that area. I don't look at your feed store every day like they do. I think there's other opportunities. You can probably work it out with ranchers around the area to try to provide for them, and then go find a place in a commercial area that would work for you. I think that's still possible. I'd like to work from home too, and be right there, but there's other opportunities.
Let's say we were in a different area or let's say we were where we are now, if we only did deliveries, would that make a difference? I mean, yeah, we still sell retail or whatever, but we wouldn't have that trend.
Okay, Bill.
The precedence is the main sticking point for me. I think, people want to be able to do what they want to with their land, but there's a problem. Every time, and I've been a part of zoning since 1973, every time we do something out of the ordinary, it comes back to bite us, and sometimes bite us hard and continues to bite us. And so I think we better just stick with the non-commercial part of it and deny it.
Mike. Okay, I'll try to keep it brief. All of that right there though, just as an explanation to address a few things. Those properties right there, Fort Donna Solon, I used to lease that and I turned yearlings out on it. So we were coming up that road, we talked about traffic on the road. We were coming up that road with big pots, unloading cattle. And every time we add a house up there, but you've added 2 vehicles, it's gonna go down the road consistently. So roads in the county are always gonna be an issue. But when we look at something that is commercial retail versus agriculture, yes, agriculture sells, by definition, we sell our own product. We work with our own product. That puts in a commercial right there, and there's something that a lot of folks in the county have forgotten because it hadn't been spoken about for years and years. But that's the right to ranch resolution, and then the master plan and the flavor of the master plan. And then easements is something that I know something about, and I know why they're put in, and that's to preserve ground. And that commercial, even if it's just retail on delivery, goes completely against the flavor of what we put in the floor of this county as far as zoning is concerned. So that's the reason why I believe it.
Mary?
I really don't want to set the precedence of a retail commercial establishment in the valley floor. Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, that's,
Okay, so you're down to me.
yeah.
I have no problem with it being a feed store. I mean, I have a problem with its location. I mean, if we start spreading out commercial retail businesses around the county, I mean, that's not according to our master plan. Our master plan says if we're gonna have commercial retail, we need to keep them around the towns.
Yeah.
You know, and we've done pretty good about that. So that was the reason, I mean, I think it's not in the right location.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sorry.
Thank you, Gary.
Also, I forgot to say, thank you for ceasing business after you talked to Dorothy. A lot of people don't do that, and you did. Thank you.
okay, our next item is the Grimm special use permit. And this is in zone 4. In lot 5 of Antelope Haven. So do we have the applicant presentation?
Do you want us to come here?
Yes.
Yeah, closing the floor.
Yeah, one second. Well, you guys cleared house, look.
I don't know if it's a good sign.
I don't know, that's good. One second.
Gina, when will this go to the county commissioners? Mr. Yoder, does he know that?
I'd have to look, Bill, for sure. I believe they have a meeting on Thursday, but I don't know that I want to push it that quick.
Yeah.
I'll have to see what's on the agenda.
Miss Wilda's gonna come in front of you guys so she can get to the right one. She's gonna come. Yeah.
It'll either be this Thursday, Bill, or next Thursday. This Thursday or next Thursday.
What?
It'll be this Thursday or next Thursday.
Unless you don't have to sit.
I'm taller than anybody when I sit in my chair.
please.
Oh, we can't hear you.
You can come on closer.
Yeah.
Scary.
We can get cozy.
So we are proposing for a wedding venue business for up to 100 people on 950 Haven Road. We found this property and we fell in love with the view, and we think it could be very beneficial or very pretty for a wedding to face the mountains. And we were asked to bring like pictures what our vision is. We couldn't find exactly what we are looking for, but like something like this.
The general location is where, north of Silver Cliff?
Yeah, you know where, well, these guys are across the road from these, from the dog. The dog.
Where the dog kennel?
Bill?
Yes. Is that operational yet? Is it gonna be?
Short answer, short
We
answer,
don't know.
probably not.
I see, okay.
I'm still in several, so working.
Start with them.
Yes,
Okay, but that's where it is.
yeah, okay.
It's not a county maintained.
It's across the street though? It's across the street from the dog. Okay.
It's literally next door to the old Bingham mine. It's adjoining property to the old mine.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, and we'd like to find local catering or a local chef. Our plan is to put in a kitchen to like warm up food or prepare the food. So depending on what we are finding as a caterer or chef, we like to get a liquor license so we can have control over what people are drinking. And yeah, how can we put this so nobody is drinking too much, so we can stop and nobody can bring their own alcohol, stuff like this. We'd like to have a person at the parking lot, because it's a little further down on our property, to help guide the guests up to the venue. We also want to provide a golf cart for handicapped people so they can be transported up to the door. What else do I have? Our focus is fire prevention, where we like to put a fence, definitely backing up the national forest and on the two sides. And we are planning on a smoker area, so no cigarettes can cause any fire. We also, we talked about when we had the walkthrough, the fire pit, it will only be a gas fire pit, never ever open fire or something. We also like to have an outdoor ceremony site further down. We like to have a bridal suite within that building for the brides getting ready. People really like that. Since I'm a home stager and doing wedding staging now for about 4 or 5 years, I'd like to also offer packages where I decorate the wedding, so like a full package, offering those people. And the venue we are planning, our vision is to be mid-range to luxury range, like a contemporary classic venue. That's what I have to say.
Any concerns about traffic? So venues will be only Friday or Saturday, so we are not planning to make this as a real commercial thing, so it is her kind of hobby, yeah. And so the traffic will be by 100 people, probably 20 to 30 cars per venue. Venue start normally at 5 in the evening and ends up by 11, yeah. So I think it's when we come in from the backside, I think it's not a big concern for anybody because the houses are so far out. And when we come on from the backside, so we get a traffic from the backside, you guys are not affected.
I am directly affected. We'll get to that.
Okay, good. So this is traffic, and then with the liquor license, it's only, we want to have control really over what's going on there, and luxury is actually our goal, because I don't want to have this venue where you rent out only the facility and people can do whatever they want to do. This is not what's happened. It's totally under control. And we talked about water, the water source. I don't want to go pretty much about to do our well as commercial. I just will put a system in the ground, also a septic tank and a leach field, so it will be professional built. And we get the water here from town, I will buy it here. And transport water is for us not a problem. I have a towing company, so we have 18 trucks. We can go back and forth, whatever it takes. Which I think it's only once a month.
Okay, write-in letters.
There was only one letter that I received. It was an email from the Holmbergs and Jeff and Pam, and their letter just stated that it was a letter of approval and they wished him well.
There was more than that. Can we read the letter?
Well, you guys had your letter.
No, they had more.
That's all in on the email I got.
Okay, I'll read this. I'll read it.
I didn't get any more. And did they email them or would they mail them in?
From his email?
From Holmberg?
Uh-huh.
You can read it. It wasn't.
That's fine. I'll just read it.
Okay, public comment. Yes.
Hi, my name is Kip Reed. I don't know if you guys want me to point to the location. Nice to meet you guys, by the way. So my property, wife and I bought the property right here. We're starting to develop it and be able to move there and buy here full time once our son graduates. So we'll be living here full time, so therefore directly affected by whatever the results of this could be. So just first want to say I like the idea of the wedding venue, for how much we really appreciate that view and location. Like the idea, but I have some concerns about physically where it is and some things around what goes on before putting it in there. So I've got a list of a couple of things to bring up. First of all, it was brought up about the traffic issues. Where it's yellow is essentially just a mud pit. As soon as there's any moisture at all, it just turns into mud. So it has actually proven difficult for us to get into our property right here or right there. Short of an all-wheel drive vehicle, we have nearly gotten stuck at least 3 times, and that would be just in one day even. So this entire section of road, from pretty much right here to here, around this curve especially, it's a drainage section, so the entire water collection from up in the hills comes down and collects right here and in this point. So if you guys talk about bringing in vehicles from the back way, even only 25 cars, that will become a problem very quickly just by the fact that 2 or 3 cars trying to get down that road, if there's been rain within 3 days, is very difficult. It's very rutted out, it's very slippery, and quickly it's just really congested, so you can get 1 or 2 vehicles. Similar problem happens right here. There's another soft spot where it drops down and water collects in that same area. So there's a driveway there, I think is where you guys are thinking about putting the driveway, according to the map I have. But getting into that point from either side, they have to go down into washouts. They collect with a lot of water. And there's no top layer. It is literally just dirt. So it instantly just turns to mud. Whether there's been snow or whether there's been rain of any kind. So that's the first concern I have. So if the road conditions can be addressed. Additionally, it's only one lane wide. There's part of the road right here is actually washed out. So even dualies trying to get across it, they have to be dead center right in the lane in order to be able to get down the road. So it's a concern that I have for trying to get that many vehicles down the road. Additionally, we're building our house right here. And I just want to make sure that if it's 11 o'clock at night, there's an event being done. I don't want 25 cars shining their light directly into our house when these events are done. So it would just be a concern that I have to be somehow addressed to make sure that when the cars are leaving, that they don't all come directly at the property, at the house that we're building. The other concern which you guys address is water, to make sure that the well's not used. Per the Department of Public Health and Environment, per Texas, the wells cannot be used for commercial use, so I just want to make sure that water use would be enforced. It is limited water out there, there's only so many wells, and then making sure, as you guys at least address the septic, making sure that's all handled properly so that we don't have contamination of the water. Now there are concerns about some of the assembly laws. So when it comes to like group gatherings and things like that, they mentioned that they only expect up to about 100 people, but the venue that they're planning to build, according to the sizing, can accommodate up to 300. So I just have concerns of making sure that if it does get approved, how we actually do limit how many people are driving there and how many people are participating, because with that area, there's a lot of flexibility to wander. That is an area that does have the BLM being right by, a lot of cattle all summer long, and they just wander. So I want to make sure that that gets accounted for if you're trying to put parking lot and have people coming and going. It can actually get pretty dangerous on the road and congested with the cattle because it's free graze. So the cattle are very frequently all along this road here and all along this road. And that just needs to be accounted for, whether it be a Friday or Saturday night. Sometimes it could be hard for us to even get to our property because of the cattle. So I just want to make sure that that's understood. Let's see here. The noise management, I know there aren't really, from what I can tell, the only ordinance talked about making sure that when there's a gathering, that the noise level is at a certain level up to until 7 p.m. And then after 7 p.m., it gets cut again. So I just want to know, because they're up against the backdrop of the mountain, any noise generated outside the building, like if they decide to have a live band outside, that will directly reflect off of the hills behind right into our property. So I just want to make sure that if that is allowed, that there's some way that we can address if it gets too loud, or to make sure that there is a time that it's cut off so that I'm not woken up at midnight because they turned up the music, if it goes late. And then, I don't know how to address this. The old mine buildings are right here. That area is frequently used day and night during the summer for shooting. It is, from where they're planning to put the building, looks like, I don't know if you guys know, you're about 800 feet away from regular free range shooting.
You tell me that, sorry, but I don't get it. So you are concerned about all this noise and all this lights and all these things, and you have a shooting range right in front of your house? I don't know, I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Okay. The shooting range, when everybody comes out shooting, they're typically there less than an hour. And then that's it. So that's the only thing to just be aware of. So it'd be different between 5 hours of music or the music going really late. So just be aware of it. Okay. Just the concerns to have and the safety aspect of it, just to make sure addressing the fact that there is a lot of people that wander out there, ATVs and things like that, back to the BLM, just the impact that that could have with the properties. Let's see here. I think that's primarily the concerns I have with it.
What was your name again?
Kib Reed, K-I-B-R-E-E-D. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yes.
Nice to see you all again. I'm Jared Baker. This is my wife, Erin. We talked to you about a year and a half ago about doing the dog kennel, and, really appreciate everybody supporting us on that. I've gotten to meet the neighbors one time, and they seem like great people. Let me just start by reading Jeff's email, just so everybody has that clear. Dear Delana and CC Planning and Zoning, I received notification via certified mail concerning the application for a special use permit, wedding venue at 950 Haven Road. As an adjoining or really close property owner, I thank you for being included here. I have a minor concern about Antelope Haven Subdivision Road, known as Haven Road. It's not a Custer County maintained right-of-way, nor is its upkeep paid for or collected by HOA dues of any kind. Annual maintenance to the road typically includes buying some gravel, hiring a grader, and operator to perform a little drainage work. These costs have been paid for to date through an amicable understanding between the 5 full-time residences, Eric, Rick, the Bakers, Mullets, and Holmbergs. If the venture's increased traffic would warrant additional maintenance, those additional costs, should they become necessary, be burdened by them as part of their SCP agreement. I welcome the Grimms to the neighborhood. I see no reason to stand in their way in the pursuit of this venture. I wish them well. So I think it's kind of important that emails coming from neighbors get read to their full extent. I just, there's more in there than just hard proof, And I think that is one of our big concerns. I've been working with the commissioners for 3 or 4 months now about Haven Road. It is a unmaintained county road. As neighbors, we've been requesting that they give the rights to us as a private road so that our maintenance just isn't for the general public. It all comes out of our pockets every year to maintain this road, and the more we maintain it, the better it gets, the more lake traffic we're getting. So we have basically ceased any maintenance from our property to County Road 251 headed towards Ed Lyons to keep that in as poor a shape as possible, because it's the only way we have right now to limit the traffic. I think when you punch in Deweese now, Google Maps is sending people through that road. I mean, it's rough. Our plan, if we were to open the business, all the neighbors were in support that we were gonna take on road maintenance. There's been several things we faced over the last couple of years as far as moving a business, opening a new business. So as far as the dog kennel, that's basically kind of out the window right now for us. Just to bring you up to speed on where that ended up.
At least on our own property.
Yeah, at least on our own property.
Also have concern, wanting to have some privacy. We lose our privacy that way as well. So yes, we wanted it as an option, but it's not one that we've moved on.
So getting to go through this process ourselves a couple of years ago, you guys taught us a lot. And a lot of that is, about the laws and regulations that exist at state level that sometimes don't always get enforced in Custer County. And so I just want to make sure, there was a lot of things that we were going to do that had to be, done a certain way because of what we were doing. And the key points I'm curious about is, from the plans I'm seeing, there might be a commercial kitchen in here. So is this going to be like a CDPHE registered commercial kitchen, since we're doing commercial venues? There's going to be 2 bar areas. Is there going to be liquor licensing involved with that? And then the state definitely has statutes about assembly halls and occupancy levels, especially concerning egress, ingress, exit lights. So I'm just curious if those higher up state laws will come into play with this, or otherwise, just wish you guys the best of luck. I hope we can be great neighbors, and unlucky for you, they taught us a lot when we were going through this, so I just want to make sure we've all got a level playing field here, and that's all I've got. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Site visit comment.
We did talk a lot about the septic system, the need to have a septic, and I believe he's either gonna hire someone to put in a full septic or come in and take the test so that he could install his own, because he has experience
We
doing
just didn't
that.
know what size. Did we ever find out what size?
I
that
have
would
not, I need to sit down and do the calculations. I have not had a chance
be?
to
Be
do
a
it.
gigantic silver tank.
For 100?
I don't know, for 100
You have to
people.
be-
Well, it's all based on gallons per, use per person, so I have that. I just need to sit down and figure that out. I have not had a chance since the site tour was on Thursday afternoon and this is Monday. I haven't had a chance. So, we talked a lot about parking. Well, we actually walked down to where they plan on doing the parking, having the parking lot, there's ample space there. Road maintenance came up, whether they come in off of Lake Road or off of the highway onto, what is the name of that road? Anyway, talked about outdoor fires. They plan on doing and enclosing the area, having a specific area for anyone who's planning on smoking and or having a gas fire pit to give the ambience of an outdoor fire. That's really kind of covers, unless you have anything else, Daryl.
It's a nice
Okay.
view. I don't think, huh?
Now we'll go to questions from the.
Well, I'm on the site tour. I'm talking.
Oh, okay.
I was on the site tour. So. She asked me if I had anything to say. I was going, it's a nice view from where it's at. I think there were some concerns about the drilling of the mines across, but as we talked, that wouldn't be an issue, I don't think. The septic, they were talking about a fence, doing a cedar fence, I think 8 to 10 foot tall, that would surround, keep people in an area type of deal. So that's all I got to say.
Okay, questions from the planning commission. Bill?
I have a question about the shooting. Is it a shooting range and is it on BLM ground or is just free for all?
It's
It's free for all.
And
On BLM.
what's so attractive about that particular location?
They can
It's-
stop
it's-
bullets shooting into a pit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's shooting into a hillside.
And an old mining buildings. A lot of people shoot at the old mining buildings that are back in the trees right there.
So is it just you as a landowner using it, or?
What's that?
Everybody, anybody comes
Yeah,
up there,
it's on-
anybody that
it's on
wants to.
BLM.
And
Yeah.
interestingly, it's not BLM.
No.
There's 2 tiny BLM sections that go up there, but all the fun that's had up in that canyon is all on private property.
It's all private
It's
stuff.
just
Then it needs a
homeowner
special
absentee
use
owners
permit
there.
itself.
I don't know that I've ever seen them on them.
Yeah, they're all patented mining claims, probably.
Yeah, there, absolutely.
So that's private land.
So they're trespassing, is what you're
So
saying?
they're trespassing, yeah.
Yeah,
Nobody to watch.
But that's the concern, nobody watching them. So just the safety aspect is my only concern. To me, admittedly, like, it doesn't happen when we were here for 2 months last summer, it was maybe every other week. And for less than an hour, people drive them back. They drive their ATVs up there a lot.
How do they get there?
There's a road,
just a little dirt.
Goes right, the road goes right by it.
251.
Is that a
continues
county
right
road?
up to-
No.
Abandoned county road.
It's an abandoned, it was a county road according to the maps I've looked at, but it's abandoned, so it's just a 2-track.
So why doesn't somebody close off the road?
Well, that's what
We're
I'm
trying
working
to
with the
get-
commissioners
yeah.
for,
That's,
to get private.
Okay, you're working on that.
I have been, I've been trying to
Yes,
get.
okay.
See, I don't know who controls that right now.
Yeah,
It used to be that, actually that was rented to Rafferty,
okay.
but it's actually a part of what Rorick and Reed have.
What was the last thing that, what's his name said?
But that's not directly off of, I mean, it's off of 255, it's not
Right.
part of 255.
Right.
Well, anyhow. As
But
all of you.
it's always
together.
been kind of an
We've
abandoned
been
area.
trying, he's been working with,
Good.
With
Lucas and tell him the last.
So Lucas F. has had it, and Lucas F. has passed it on to, what's the other commissioner?
Canada.
To Canada, and Kanda is trying to decide what precedent was set before and if they're pulling gas tax on our road. So if they're pulling gas tax on our road, then we're SOL.
Well, but then they've gotta maintain it if they're getting.
Well, you would
That's
think
the
so,
issue.
wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But that's the thing, we don't want the county to maintain it because now we've got a highway in our front yard.
Yeah, right, okay.
Straight to Lake Deweese from Pueblo.
You could take that up with the commissioners.
Okay,
But
It's like this.
yeah, it's still the concern of the amount of vehicles. If they want to come up from the back, I understand the concern about the back to minimize the other neighbors. I agree with that because then it would only affect our property, that all the cars would go around and then pull up into their driveway, which can be largely managed because most headlights are gonna be out one way, fine at night. I'm just worried about when they're all leaving. Every car leaving is gonna be right hitting our house with headlights coming out. The only nice thing is our house will be above grade about 16 feet. So if they manage the lighting coming out of the parking lot, we actually shouldn't be affected by it too much. Which is where I'm okay, as long as we're addressing the concern, but when you stated a privacy fence that's planned around it, that could address it.
Yeah.
So the only other concern is who's maintaining that section of road,
And who's enforcing?
enforcing that.
okay, further questions from the planning commission?
Yeah, I do. We talked about the road left and right, and that you really didn't want to maintain it because of what they just said. If you maintain it, then you got more people coming down it, which is gonna cause issues.
Here's the problem, you guys told me in the meeting that I don't can maintain the road because it is county, yeah? So we don't can touch it.
Right.
This is what you guys told me. I told everybody, I said, I'm totally fine to come up with a road grader or whatever it takes, yeah, to get a road cleared up. But you guys told me I don't can touch the road. This is actually what they really told me.
Custer County is a very interesting place, and that's kind of the tough thing about this is because, I wish you all would have come in and been neighbors and lived here for a little while to understand how things work up here before being like, we bought a place, we want an SUV. So that is kind of where a lot of the neighbors, I think, are getting a little bit.
Yeah.
I have a question. If the road does not get, turned private, what is to stop people from going the better route? Because that's the faster route to town, which is where all the wedding guests will be staying, I'm assuming, and or accessing. Why would they want to go that way? Unless they're all coming from Pueblo, because they're gonna clearly
You talking
see.
about coming home, that they go left or they go right, is that what you're saying?
Well, either way, like depending on how their GPS brings them into town, it's very clearly better coming from Lake Road than coming from the back way.
And the back way is from?
That
251.
251.
Off Oak Creek grade.
Yeah.
Oak Creek Road.
Oak Creek, is that Oak Creek grade?
Yeah, it's off Oak Creek grade.
Yeah.
Which
My
one?
other question is, what will happen with the house that's on there?
What do you mean, what's happening?
Oh, you'll live in it?
Yeah.
Oh,
so we cannot be full-time here.
oh, okay, I didn't know if you would use it as like a guest house
No,
or
no,
something
no,
like
no,
that.
it's only for us, it's only for us and for nobody else. It's actually, what I explained also, this has to be really, for me, very important. This is not an operation to make money, yeah? We do this more than for a hobby. So it's not, we don't need to live out of it. We have 2 companies down in the Springs. We generate money out of our companies in the Springs, yeah? I try to probably bring a tow truck or 2 up here, so to help out the local towing company, yeah? But it's not that we have to have 300 people a weekend and stuff like this. We are really picky which people we get in there. So, because I don't want to have a wedding location where somebody can rent it and violates everything, because you guys will be mad with me in 10 seconds. And
For sure, because for me personally, I drive to Pueblo 5 days a week. So when I come home and when I come to Westcliff, this is the only time that I get away from all the hustle and bustle. And so when I'm there is Friday to Sunday. And that's the time that I'm at home, to be able to have peace. And that's the time you're talking about having people there. And I went through all this to get my own SUP, to have my own business at my own home, which I did nothing with because it would encroach on my privacy. So
Okay,
that's where I'm.
back to the planning commission. I have a question. So you're talking wedding venues, are you talking seasonal or are you talking year round?
Yeah, seasonal.
So like May to September-ish?
Yeah.
Okay.
Would there be any possibility of having like business venues for like doing Christmas business parties or anything like that?
This is not planned, no.
No. So that's, I mean, if it's just, if I can, I'm sorry, but if this is just a hobby, then where, like, what happens when your hobby starts encroaching on my property value? Because I have a business next year that might grow into something more and bigger. Like, you know, it goes from a couple weddings of summer to Christmas parties in the winter to, you know, I mean, these things, it's a popular thing right now. People love going to the mountains and having weddings. So, I mean, everybody can say we can start small, but what if it's big in a year or 2 years and I can't sell my property now?
The SUP could be limited to a specific.
So maybe that is definitely something we can consider.
To a specific
Time of
use or time of year. You know.
Okay. Further question? Skip.
Thank you. Yeah, Three Peaks Ranch. This is a wedding venue in the, I don't know if you're aware of it.
Yes, oh yeah.
Have you heard much about that, Dorothy, as far as some of the things they're asking about the catering and the figure? I know we went through that with Three Peaks.
It's my understanding that they have everything catered in, so that kind of keeps them out of having to get approved through the health department for making the food on site.
Oh, I think they.
They're very, very busy.
Are they going year round?
They're going year round, as far as I understand, they're busy every weekend,
Huh.
so.
I know they were concerned about the alcohol.
I believe that they don't have I don't believe that they have a liquor license. I believe that they allow their guests to bring their own liquor. That way they're not selling it.
BYOB.
And that's, your point is,
We'd like to
very
get
good.
a liquor license to have control.
So you have
So you have control over it and say, you know, somebody is actually going too wild, you can stop him right there. So it's also what we do is because she's staging the wedding, so somebody will be at the wedding all the time. So it's not that we leave these people alone, we are there. And make sure everything goes the right way.
and you can stay in the house while you're having
Yes,
an event.
That's what it sounds for.
Yeah, they were working on the house.
Yeah.
And if you provide liquor, of course, you gotta go through the TCD or whatever, liquor
Yeah,
license.
you'll have
And then are you going to look at having extra insurance
Yes.
in case somebody wrecks because they drank
Oh, yeah,
three beers
yeah.
instead of two?
Yeah, special stuff they'll be required to add.
Yeah, you have to, but I've seen people not lose everything.
And to his concern, what I can do is the driveway where we get guests in and out, we can put up a fence so the lights are going against the fence, yeah?
Thank you.
And this will be small things like this. I'm totally for it. I don't wanna get somebody upset, yeah? So it's for us, we wanna make sure everybody's okay with it.
Okay, further questions from the planning commission?
Are we still that SUPs, if someone starts complaining after a year or two, are they looked at again, they're reviewed?
We can make that a
They're
condition.
reviewed on, almost everything I send over to the commissioners that they sign is on a complaint basis, review on a complaint basis. So we do not have anything in the resolution that says we will review or go on site and you know, look
Right,
at
we don't have
everything
that,
every
but
year. We do not have.
It's neighbor-based.
Well, it's, yeah.
Complaint based.
Yep.
And just one thing more, I wanna make sure everybody's okay with it because we spend probably $200,000 to $250,000. And I don't want to spend $250,000 and use it as a barn later, yeah? So, because everybody's complaining. So we spend real money and we are really serious about it. And it's not an idea which I want to do because it's cool. No, this is really something which is really serious. So, and we build the things for max 100 people. So I'm trying to be below, yeah, because it's way easier to handle. And when we spend so much money, we want to make sure everybody's okay.
Yeah, and I mean, just my honest, like, gut problem is it's a big investment, and I just see, if it was me and I was investing 250,000, I'd be wanting to make a business out of it. It wouldn't just be
it is a
little
business.
bit here and there.
It is a business.
You said it was a hobby.
Yeah,
There's a difference between a hobby
I
and a
say
business.
right now, we don't have to live out of this business. This is the big difference. We bought this house outright. So it's not that we go in something where we bought this house and have $350,000 in loan on it and this, and then we have to. So we bought the house and we finished the house with no loans.
It's not your full time.
So that's why,
So everything should be directed up here, is my understanding.
yeah, this is actually really not full-time. This is probably the best, how to describe it, so not, we need to.
Does the property, or does the board know if neighboring properties or values are implicated by these type of venues being set up next to them?
I don't think any more than what you guys are putting out.
We haven't done anything.
Yeah, we have chosen
Done
basically
zero.
not to because of the
Right, but
neighbors.
her point was, is that, you know, as far as that kind of consideration, this wouldn't be any different on our consideration.
Gotcha, that's fair.
Okay, further things from the planning commission.
I'm ready to make a motion.
Okay. Skip.
I'm thinking of, just for your example, people that were here before you, they, in a way, with their roads, they had the same problem. They have, but they've been around for 20 years. I just know in that area, all the neighbors, they have a problem with their roads, as we know from driving up there in the wintertime, Dorothy. But anyway, they do their own road, it's not a county road. And each one, and then they bring in, somebody comes in and grades, and the letter you sent in, same thing, you said that you have somebody come in and grade or spread gravel, split it up. I was trying to figure out, and I don't know if you could do this, if your expenses in the past, for the past couple of years have been steady, and you could, then if they would agree to put into the kitty, either, you know, you got one more person, I figured you got 5 people here that are paying now, you'd have 6, it would cut yours down, the grading on the same road.
Well, but
Except it extends, it extends
graders.
past.
Oh,
So
it
it's
extends
more,
past. Oh.
it's more road than what they're maintaining
Okay.
today.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
We're only paying to maintain from Lake Road to our house right now,
And then everything else I've taken care of with my skid
Itself.
steer since we flipped.
that nobody pays for.
And they have,
Out of the kindness of my heart.
and this gentleman has graders,
Oh,
on-site graders.
If it's allowed, this was the big problem, the concern last time when we get together, if it's allowed, I'm not willing to help out in any way.
So he has it later.
Okay.
Okay. I move that the planning commission recommend to the county commissioners to approve this SUP with the following conditions, and I need a lot of help on the conditions. First is all county, state, and federal regulations are met. This applies to sewer, electrical. There's no building code in Custer County. But for a commercial building, I don't know what you need. That you have proper insurance, liability insurance. And then what else do you want to put on the conditions?
That they maintain a cistern for the commercial water?
Okay, yeah, the water is to be, is no commercial well at this time, and the water is to be from a cistern.
No more than 100 people.
Okay, limit to 100 people.
And also the fence.
Oh, privacy fence, to control nuisance lighting.
Can I ask for one other small thing?
Maybe. You
Just
can always ask.
Just a way for the neighbors to be able to communicate with them before complaints happen. So just if there was a question or something's come up, an opportunity for us to communicate easily as neighbors, since they're not living there full time, we can't just exactly walk over to discuss a concern. So just a way to communication. So if the
Like a
venue
phone
goes,
number?
like a phone number,
Okay, that communications be maintained with your neighbors. What else?
Guests can't leave the property.
Oh, no, yeah.
As
The
far
only other
as-
thing would be to reach some agreement with the neighbors on the road maintenance.
Yes.
So there's a couple things here on the road maintenance, if I'm understanding correctly, okay, so don't anybody go throwing me out quite yet. You're maintaining it down, obviously, where you guys are at. And then there's obviously a pretty good stretch of road in there that isn't maintained. But I can assure you, if I was investing $250,000 in something that I'm gonna depend on getting folks into by nature, I would almost assume that's my responsibility to extend some of that road in maintenance, right?
No.
I could be way out of bounds there, but I mean, that's the way I'd be looking at it.
So the thing that's really scaring us is if we fix the road up and we haven't come to an agreement with Custer County yet, whether we can put a gate up somewhere to limit just the recreational lake traffic and get through that.
because it would still allow their access. Once at that gate.
Yeah.
If we were able to block off a gate instead of coming up from 251, come from Lake Louise.
So if I were,
and share
I'm
maintenance.
just saying, if I'm investing what they're investing, I'm coming from what I'm gonna call, which is the northwest, right?
Yes.
And I'm not continuing to go down around your corner.
Correct.
Right? Because if I'm them, I only wanna do what's adequate to get my guests in.
That would be easier. for
So
them.
I'm not saying at all that all of a sudden they're gonna assume tying that thing clear into that south road. I'm saying if I were them, by nature, I mean, just by the nature of the whole thing, and I'm not trying to speak for you, I'm just telling you what I'm thinking. I'm not sure that the road becomes a terrible issue, because I'm not gonna maintain any further than to satisfy what I have to need for the business that I'm doing, right? And as a matter of fact, for you down there, you're gonna be the one that's gonna be looking at maintaining even beyond where they would maintain, to help you get in and not have to have a mud wagon to try to get in, if I'm hearing you correctly.
But that's it, maintaining for one, versus maintaining for 50 or more hours a weekend, that's a big difference in maintenance.
It is a big difference in maintenance, but I'm still saying that if I was in his shoes, you see what I'm saying?
Could that be part of the stipulation then, is that just to not affect that corner of traffic, because that corner is where the road
He
is
isn't gonna want to,
Can we just say that direction of traffic?
But I can assure you, he isn't gonna wanna pay to go down there and go around the corner he's never used. You know what I'm saying?
Hopefully never use. That's part of the thing, is making sure that the people coming know which way to come in so they don't have a problem. Because I don't want them getting stuck either. They don't want to get stuck.
Put it in the wedding venue, the approach to coming in there, you know,
Yeah.
so it's got a map in the.
Yeah, but
What?
I mean, that's not gonna happen. People are gonna come.
You're
where
just
they
gonna
wanna
have
come
people,
from.
they're gonna go there, and
It
go, we're
doesn't
going to
matter,
go
they might
right,
get
we're gonna go left.
If you type our address on Google Maps,
Well, you might want to get stuck down there, because then your tow truck can make money.
Yeah, exactly.
He might become a really good neighbor for you as a snow truck.
It could
You
be.
know what I mean?
Well, you could put in the stipulations that entrance and egress must come from the northwest corner.
But that's sending everybody past the most amount of neighbors.
That's sending past his property.
Yeah, well,
That's
because
true.
it's all
Have
not
the
just
best of
his,
both
but
worlds.
six
Yeah, right.
neighbors.
So I'm just, like.
They were
between
planning
you
on
and us,
using
like,
that
what
with
if
hers.
we, is there a chance
Same
to
road.
pause this
They don't
until we
want
can
to use
figure out what to do with the road with the commissioners?
Is this guy, who's he?
We could pause,
He has a.
but I don't want to, you know, are you,
We get, I'm not,
Deal. And this is
for me, the important part right now is to see if we get approved or not. Yeah, this is the first thing, okay? And then it's not that I start building right now and do something out of the blue. So it takes time. It will be ready by probably springtime next year, completely done. Yeah. So this is the plan. So if I have to wait another 2 months to whatever road decision.
I would say that I would be more inclined to recommend as a neighbor that they move forward once we have the road stuff figured out. Because they've already addressed, which also makes me think I can work with them, so they've already addressed concerns about the light. And I think by having everything largely in the building and having the noise. So I would be more inclined to recommend that you guys approve the special use if the road's addressed. So I don't know if that could be considered in this situation as well.
can I,
Just in that time management.
For one, to keep it in order, that we're supposed to kind of keep it in on this discussion. I think your input is awesome, right? Okay. But we gotta be careful in how much we start figuring all this out in public. So we gotta figure it out here, turn it over, and if there's stuff you guys gotta figure out amongst yourselves after whatever the answer is, then y'all just gotta figure it out.
Okay.
Because everything else has been good, so I would, yeah.
Anything else in your motion, Bill?
well, the discussion that we've had is they gotta get the county off their ass and figure out what they're gonna do with the road before we move forward, before they move forward, before we move forward.
Can I say something?
Yes.
It's very hard, at least this is my understanding, for someone to block off a road that's been used for years and years and years. If a road was going across my property and everybody in my neighborhood used it, I can't block that off, even though that's my property. That doesn't give me the right. If it's been
No, but it does give us
used.
the right to let the rain come through and wash it out. And
Don't fix it,
And
yeah.
we're
Yeah,
talking about
don't fix
putting
it.
gates that the neighbors can have access to.
Yeah.
But you're blocking it off to the public.
Okay,
Correct.
so that's,
If they gave it to us, we don't, I mean, they're not maintaining it.
So we had this, just to make an explanation, in the last, what we just sat through today, the one thing I didn't go, if you remember how that property was, they had a little bit of a maintained road, they showed where it stopped. That was Peterson's place. That road goes clear on through. It's a county road that is not maintained, you can't block it off. I know that
It's
because
a
I've been
two-track.
down horseback, driven cattle down it, all that kind of stuff. And you can still drive it. Cobblestone, rougher than cob, but it's a county road and it just can't be blocked off. I mean, people can drive through there, they don't because it's not maintained.
Those are people who know, not people coming from out of town.
Well,
They're the
you
ones
could
that-
have, I've had my GPS stuff and my, what I use, Garmin and all that, send me, I don't even want to tell you where it sent me to Arkansas one time.
Yeah.
So, I'm not kidding, I mean, it's that whole
But precedent has
road.
been set in the county of blocking county roads. It's happened down in Sewellville, it happened down at the old Bridge Road across from the.
Boy, if they're doing that, I'm not sure because they want to leave those roads open in emergency situations. And it's a
There's gate
county
to get
road.
into
It's a
Sewellville.
county road.
You have to have a code up for it, so.
okay,
Anyway.
let's get back to the motion.
I'll second his motion with these, I'll add take his conditions and verify them.
Okay.
Okay with that?
Yeah.
I even wrote them down.
You wrote it down.
With the conditions, all state, county regulations are met, including electrical, plumbing, sewer, proper insurance, maintain a cistern for commercial, limit the guest count to 100, fence a privacy fence, control nuisance, lighting. I put
That's what the
license.
fence is for.
I want to put license. Communication with neighbors, emergency contact number only.
Yes.
A guest. Guests remain on site.
Yeah, they have to run.
Road
remain on the
maintenance,
property.
road maintenance to be in working relations with neighbors. That's about the best you can do. And I want to add this, the finished product of the chapel to be close to the pictures provided. Because these are going to be.
We like this picture, right?
Yeah, close to that, because these are gonna be containers,
No.
right?
We changed it.
Because that's what y'all talked about on the site tour.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we actually changed it, sorry, I forgot totally. The thing is, if we build this as a wedding barn, this is the condominium, calls not condominium, I think it's a great style. This building is engineered with plot plans, with foundation plans, with everything.
Okay, so
Just
no
from
more
the
container,
factory,
that's gone.
from the factory, and it's the wind load, everything is right there. And I don't guarantee a wind load on containers. Yeah, so
But those pictures are close to what it's gonna
This
look
is
like
exactly
again.
That's what we.
That's what we.
Okay, that's what I'm
And
saying.
you'll have to.
That's why.
It's a condominium, it's not.
So one thing before we vote though.
22 items, I
On
guess.
all this, with those items. We did something we've never done before and are not supposed to do and can never do again. And that is, and nothing against y'all, but when we get into what we were talking about, it is literally, that's where we gotta stay. So I want you to appreciate the fact that we took in some thoughts when we didn't, okay? So I don't know if you need to make a note of that or whatever.
Good point.
So it's been moved and seconded.
To
Further
approve,
discussion from the planning commission
to approve.
with the
those-
following conditions.
Those conditions.
All those conditions, I'll add them up.
Who seconded?
Daryl?
Daryl?
Okay.
Daryl.
Is there any further discussion from the planning commission?
I'd like to just,
10 conditions.
yeah, my motion is to recommend to approve to the county commissioners.
Right,
Recommend that the county commissioners approve this with the following conditions. How do I say,
As listed.
yeah, but I want the commissioners to be able to add to it if they want to on the conditions.
they do.
They do.
Don't make any difference what we put down.
That's true, okay, yeah. Limited, not limited to
Not
only
limited
these
to 10,
conditions.
not limited to 10 conditions,
Yeah, okay,
and I'll second that.
okay. So
Okay,
now,
is there any further discussion?
You need me to go over the conditions again?
No.
You got it, okay.
Okay, if not, we'll proceed to vote. Skip?
Yes, I vote yes.
Aye.
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 Mary?
Aye.
And I'll vote aye. So it's
Aye.
unanimous,
Yes,
it is passed.
and my reasons are the conditions be met. So somebody else can pick up their own.
No, I have to do that because we beat this horse to death.
Yeah, I agree. Mike, you agreed with that?
I agree with what.
Daryl?
As Trump said about Biden, yeah, you beat it to death.
Yeah. Justin?
With the conditions, yeah.
With the conditions, yes.
Okay.
We're gonna be unanimous, Keith.
Yes.
I do. I mean, I think that with the conditions we've placed on it, it can be a good project. Okay. You're good.
Thank you.
Been a pleasure.
With a lot of
Go home
conditions.
on Haven Road.
Yeah, so we wanna move up here, but right now I have too many things going on down in the springs. But in the end of the day, we are planning to move up here.
I will let you guys know when it's gonna be brought forth to the commissioners, so you can attend that meeting.
Those pictures stay with us.
With you? Where do they go?
They
Like
stay
part of
with
the
us.
record.
Okay, sorry, I wasn't sure.
Okay. Workshop scheduled, just as a reminder. Master plan workshop scheduled for March the 10th at 1 PM, 4 PM. At the Kirkpatrick Bank Meeting Room.
That worked for me and.
Start over again, please. I got 14 notes on this from
Calvin.
emails.
Out here.
I'll call you
Wind
and
down
give it to
south
you.
today, and the snow coming in.
Which day?
What
is it?
It's the.
So that's Monday, that's this coming Monday, isn't it?
It'll be a short-term rental workshop, March the 24th, 1 to 4, Kirkpatrick Bank Meeting Room.
Should need that.
Is that also ADUs, or is it just gonna be STRs?
No,
Okay.
just
Master
one item
plan?
at a time.
I think we gotta be volunteers.
At Kirkpatrick.
Kirkpatrick.
Yeah, maybe 24.
That gives y'all a start. Y'all have somewhere to start now.
Okay, the second thing is, says a short-term rental moratorium discussion. That was something that Dorothy and I had discussed, and we got our horses before our wagon. Going to the commissioners,
Can I say something?
because I won't make a decision like that about asking for a moratorium without it coming from all of you guys. I mean, I
Until we
think
have our,
short,
until after March 24th.
yes,
It's fine with me. Would you like that in the form of a motion?
Were you gonna say something over there?
go ahead.
I just, think that'll give us some time, because in addition to you guys making the recommended changes, then we have to have a hearing and everything to change the resolution. So it's gonna be out a little ways, and that'll give us a chance to really look at it and make some decisions. The fire hazard, or the possibility of fire in some of the areas that are very small lots and very condensed weighs heavy on my mind.
I mean, it's my feeling that we're granting short-term rentals like crazy. At the same time, they're kicking us for ADUs
Yeah.
because they don't have housing. Well, we're working against ourselves.
Okay, let's go for, I move that the planning commission recommend the county commissioners to put a moratorium on granting short-term rentals till July 1st.
Until July 1st?
Wow.
Until we can work things out.
What?
I said until we can work things out?
Yeah, but then we can't do that, so I'm gonna say July 1st.
I'll second.
Okay,
Is that too?
Discussion? You want discussion?
yes.
All right, if we're doing that though, I'm not sure that gives us enough time.
That's what I was thinking.
It
Well,
might have to
I
be
would
like-
say the same thing.
Okay,
I'd say if we're gonna have a moratorium, let's have a moratorium for at least a year.
I agree.
okay, until January 1st, 2026.
That's not a full
That's not a
year.
year.
What calendar are you looking at? Crying out loud. A year from now is March 3rd. You gypped us 3 months.
Okay,
How long you been on this commission?
maybe too long. I was trying to,
I'll second that.
I was
I have
trying
to put
to,
up with him on another board, and we have to drive 100 miles and go there, and so we get
to
to argue all
temper
the time.
this a little
Okay,
bit
I
for
want you
the
to do that.
commissioners, so the commissioners would accept it.
Oh, I see.
But I
So
don't,
9 months? 9 months? Is everybody good with 9 months?
And that
Bill
would-
might be on to something. I'll
That
give him
would be
credit.
when our normal cycle
that's when our
opens
normal
back up
cycle
again.
starts. is
You
January
are
1st.
brilliant. I don't, I
What
have
would that
no
be,
idea what I'm
December?
saying about you. and
How about
everything.
December?
Well,
9 months is
January.
December.
Are you
January.
ready to make a
February.
motion
It would
to
actually be
adjourn
February.
too with that, so we can vote all
That'd
at
be
one
11
time?
months.
Well, I know, but we don't do anything in January.
Do very little in December.
So they could submit the applications starting January of
Yeah.
2026.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
So
Whoever
the
made the motion.
I did, and
So
it goes
December
to
31st.
Oh, you seconded, you
January
already
1st.
seconded. Somebody seconded it.
Whatever.
January 1st.
January 1st, okay.
2026.
I'll first it.
And also, part of his motion was to adjourn, so we're voting on both.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded
But Keith,
that we ask the commissioners for a STR moratorium
yes,
from
Yeah.
now.
And to crack down on those that are illegal. Gives us time to do that too.
and do we have any pending ones?
No, not
Good,
right now.
lock the door.
From now until January 1st of 2026.
That's right,
Which will be tomorrow.
yeah.
Okay.
That'd be enough, because that's when they can start up. and then-
Yeah.
Call
So,
the question.
okay,
Aye.
all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Okay, now, my next motion is to adjourn.
Second.
You don't want to listen to my report?
No,
You, we'll catch up next month.
okay.
We can listen.
Then we can,
Workshops at 1 o'clock. Or the 4.
Okay, I'll make it quick, how's that? So, some of the current things that the Planning and Zoning Department is working on is reviewing and comparing the on-site waste management treatment systems, because they're going to be making some major changes at the state level, and we have to be at the state level or above. So we're in the process of comparing what we have to what the changes are gonna happen. As a matter of fact, they're having I believe, a vote on that sometime this month, so we'll know more at next month's meeting.
this
Well,
is
that-
for septic reservoirs
Yes.
regulations?
Yes,
They're gonna be changed
yes.
because Denver's unhappy.
I don't know about Denver, but yes, they're gonna be changed.
So you're talking about septic regulations on properties?
Yes.
Or, oh, okay.
One of the-
Not the plant, not the sewage system here in town.
No, not the sewage
Okay.
system here in town. One of the biggest things that's gonna impact us is you're gonna have to increase the size of your, system. If you're doing a short-term rental, it'll be based on number of beds, not bedrooms. So it's 50 gallons per minute more per bed. So it's gonna be a lot from an implementation standpoint from our office going out. We're gonna have to review every property, and that'll push it on an inspector.
Is
So
that going to make us review every STR?
Well, I was thinking,
We'll have to.
so they're not gonna grandfather anything
No,
in, they're gonna
like
make them
he
change
said,
them.
they renew every year.
STRs, yeah, they do
Yeah.
renew every year.
Oh,
So-
I got you. Okay.
So that
But
may
if we
make-
didn't renew every year, just for the heck of it, it would, then, if they're already in, they're grandfathered.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So the septic changes means some cracks hit the fan.
Yeah, it does.
There's also some very substantial changes coming in. I know we're a non-code county, but we're gonna be required to put some regulations together for new builds. It's new builds and additions only.
Good.
That make the property more fire resilient. They're calling it a fire resiliency code. So we will have to participate in that, even though we're non-code.
Is there going to be a board for that, or what are you
No,
going to
it's
do?
just regulations.
It is, and I'll be sharing those as, once that's all put
What are
forth.
those gonna entail?
Metal roofs, I mean, the roof has, whatever material you use for the roof has to be proven that it's at a certain fire rating. The outside, structure needs to pass a certain resilience, of fire resilience. The fencing put around a property needs to be fire resilient, as if it's so close to the actual structure. I don't have all the details, but I'll share those with you guys when I get them.
It's
They so
needed.
worried about fire, why don't they just turn loose and get up here above us and log all this country out before we catch on fire?
Yeah.
Fill the creeks full of ash and shut the county down for 10 years.
Well,
Can't do that.
Well, I have a workshop with the commissioners coming up this month, later in the month, so I'll have more detail after that. And I believe I want to say we have till October of 2025 to get it put out there to our contractors.
And they need to be talking to builders that know what the hell they're talking about, instead of people that think they know.
I'll give you the information, and maybe you
Honestly.
can sit on one of the calls.
Yeah, they should, instead of thinking they know how to build, and that most of them don't. They have no clue.
I can give you some information on that, Daryl, if you want to stop by sometime. We're working on our grant project. We have hired 2 part-time individuals to do nothing but scan all of our current documents. It is in the process. On some of the parcels, you can go on and actually, you will be able to go on here real soon and pull up all of their permit information. You can pull up the septic information, which we're hoping will help reduce some of the walk-in traffic and some of the calls into the office. Part of that grant that I wrote also will give us the opportunity to allow everybody to apply for their permits online. It'll go straight to Delana, and myself will approve that permit or ask questions, whatever. Most of it's going to be done online and via email.
Good.
Kind of exciting stuff. It's been hard to keep up with, but we're doing it. We're continuing to address compliance issues every day. We have more coming in, and I'm expecting usually in April it increases. We currently have 11 new compliance issues that have been added to our actual spreadsheet. We have 8 more to be added that we have sitting on our desk. We have 187 issues total, and that means properties that are out of compliance, whether it be building without a permit, not having a septic, it ranges. So I supply the commissioners with that report every month with my report that I send them, and if any of you want to see it, I can send it to you. We have 15 of those compliance issues that we've sent multiple letters out, including a cease and desist letter, and they're now sitting on I am now in the process of working with the county attorney. 4 of those are at the stage where we'll be going to trial possibly. So we are working it, it's just a lot.
And are those, when you go to trial, is that in county court or district court?
County, I don't know, I haven't done it yet.
Oh, okay.
I believe it's county, I could be wrong.
It's county and can be appealed to district.
Well, yeah.
After.
If they had gone through the whole system, and went through the Board of Adjustment,
Yeah.
then they go straight to district court.
Well, those do, yes, that goes to district court, but.
As you know, you've been there.
Yeah, I've been there.
Permit renewals for the STRs, Delana went through and she's done 2 notifications to anybody who had a current STR that they need to come in and renew their permits. We've had 2 that did not renew, 1 in zone 2 and 1 in zone 4. So depending on after the moratorium, if that's put in place, we'll have 2 extra openings if we choose to continue to go that direction. Same thing with the contractor renewals. She's been busy sending them out to the septic contractors and soil analysis contractors to make sure they're renewing their permits with us, or they're updating their license. Continuing to, one of the things that we're working on and I'm proposing to the commissioners is, and this will go in effect if the state votes to make the changes to the septic regulations, is that we do a title transfer on the septic. So anytime a home sells, they have to have a title when the title of that home transfers to a new individual, there has to be an inspection on that system. We have so many systems out there that are very, very old, very barely functioning, and
How are you gonna?
I'm working with some of the other counties that currently have that process in place to see how they implemented it, what communications they use.
Because I imagine 90% of the septic systems in the county were put in prior to permits being required.
And part of the new regulations from the state will be that if it's out of date, it needs to be brought into up to where standard is, up to standard.
Before they can purchase the house, or after they purchase, or before they can move in?
I don't
We
know
don't
that
know
for
that.
sure.
Yeah, those all have to be decided.
Yeah. That's really it. Our revenue was up in January, from, compared to last year, same number of permits, but, we had a couple really big builds that brought our revenue up, so that's really all I have.
But the state isn't going back and making some of these older places have to go put in a new septic system.
They may.
They might. Why they're gonna have hell.
They were gonna have no.
If work's done on a
I'm talking about if they don't sell it, if they just.
Not if they don't sell it. When it's sold, it would be.
When it's sold.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm talking, they're just not gonna come up to.
When it's sold, or if, let's say, there was a malfunction and they had to have a contractor come out there and do some work, then it would need to be brought up to standard. Same thing with risers. Risers need to be in place on every septic system that's having any kind of maintenance done to it. Them are just some of the changes.
I would like to bring up that we need to implement somehow to the commissioners or something, that SUPs need to be looked at every 2 years, minimum. These SUPs are just, they've been 20 years and nobody went and checked them. Right, but I mean, that's, yeah, that needs to be looked at.
Yeah, it goes forever. As long as the property doesn't change hands.
Well, in fact, there's old conditional use permits that go with the property. It don't make any difference how many times it changes hands. Bill's
I've got one.
sitting on one.
Yeah, I'm sitting on one.
Would we address that on March 24th?
Yes.
In
If we
the
decide
major-
to change something,
Okay,
then we need to address some of those other things too.
okay. So I'll make note, that's one of the things I would like to address in that meeting.
Okay.
Because I've got a few things I'd like to, take out of the subdivision book and put in the
We have them.
regulations.
Not an SUP. Not an SUP.
Good to me.
STR.
We adjourn. I second.
We are adjourned.
Second the motion.
I adjourn the meeting.
Here's my book.
Yeah.